How do we take this and turn it into this? I want to give you some simple steps for how I voice chords and give priority to the different parts of a chord. For the first step, I want to take a look at the bass and the melody, as they are the most important parts of any chord. The bass being the most important part of the chord. It's what we name all chords after, and the melody is the part that our ears naturally gravitate towards. Now the chord I'll be playing will be some sort of a C minor 9. Even just playing these two notes, we can hear that there's already somewhat of an interesting sound. Now, the second step, or the second most important part of the chord, is the third and the seventh. These two notes. So we have a lot of room in between our bass and our melody note to place this third and the seventh. We can put them down here. We can put them up here. Or we can leave them in the middle. Now, I prefer to leave them in the middle, as it's just kind of spreading out everything, all the most essential parts or notes of the chord pretty evenly. Having them all sit up top, I feel is a little too top heavy, and then having them sit down here kind of leaves this melody note on its own. Now we could double these notes, which would give it a bit more of a full sound, but I prefer to just keep them in the center. Now you really could honestly stop here in terms of your voicing, because it already kind of sounds interesting and is usable. Now this still is a C minor 9, and the reason why we don't have to add the fifth, or the reason why the fifth is not as important as the third and the seventh, is we're already hearing the fifth in the bass note. It's part of the overtone series in the bass note. We're getting a subtle hint of the fifth within the bass note, so it's not as important to add it in the chord. And we can add it, but it's not necessary. So now that we have this, we have to think about all the other parts of the chord we could add. We have to think about all the tensions or extensions and all the doubling we can do with the chord. So we have the ninth. We could double the ninth. We can also add the 11th or the 13th. We can add the 5th back in there. And as you can see, starting to get a much more full sound out of this chord. You can really double notes and move notes around wherever you like. Now, personally, I do like having, if you can play, this is kind of hard to play, but having these two notes next to each other, the ninth and the third, the flat third, kind of gives for a good sound. I'd like when there's some sort of dissonance and a chord. This is now a C minor 11th because we have this F. Very beautiful open sound. So just to recap our steps, the first thing is to account for your bass and your melody note. The next level of priority is the 3rd and the 7th. And then the last step is adding 5ths, 11ths, 13ths, and doubling notes. Really adding all the other parts of the chord. Now let's try this with F7, F dominant 7. We can use the 13th because it is the melody note for our first chord, C minor 9, and that will allow for some good voice leading. So here I have the 1st, 3rd, 7th, and then I'm playing the 13th. And that transitions smoothly from one another, because I don't have to move my right hand. These are the same notes for both. And we can add in a flat 9. We can double the 13th. These are the steps I use to voice my chords, and I hope this helps you to voice your own chords for your music. Thanks for watching. Peace.